How is it that there are so many people who is obviously talented and gifted, seemingly being blessed according to Western standards? When I say Western standard and blessings, I'm talking about they have the nice homes, they have the nice cars. It seems like the family is really a family. It's not dysfunctional as most. And it just seems like they just got it all together. But when it comes to their walk and their relationship with the Lord, they have none. And Lord, how do you allow those things to happen? How do you allow people to stand in your pulpits and in your choir lofts and on your church staff and they live lives that is contrary to your will? And be it in their personal relationship or their public ignorance. I don't know. And sometimes you wonder, man, why? It seems like that church over there is booming and those people over there are just growing and they just getting blessings after blessings, and sometimes you just get weary because you're like, I'm doing the best I can. And so I was reminded last week as we were preaching, man, God is working and He's trying to perfect us, and we just have to learn to discipline ourselves and away from Western way of thinking that blessings doesn't always add up to dollars and cents, cars and houses, your ability to travel from here to yonder and all those things. But blessing is the peace that God gives us, the grace that God bestowed upon us when we walk in obedience, the mercy that He gives us when we're walking in disobedience. And God does not have a problem with us acquiring creature comforts in order for us to live in. But I'm challenged, and I'm challenging everyone that comes into my little circle that we need not go create a debt for ourselves in order to try to provoke God to bless us more. In other words, we go get a house note that we can't afford and trust the Lord for it. Go buy cars we can't afford and buy clothes and all these things because we want to show people we serve a mighty good God. And so I'm reminded what Jesus told Satan, you shouldn't be tempting God. And so because Satan told him, if God is really God and you really here because of God, then tell him to turn these stones into bread. Don't tempt God. Man don't live off of bread, but we live off of things that proceed out of the mouth of God. So here's what proceeded out of the mouth of God to a very wise man named Solomon. In Proverbs 18 and 15, starting at verse 15 and 16, he says, the heart of the prudent acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. A man's gift makes room for him and bring him before great men. A man's gift, now see that? Gift makes room for him.
Not talent.
And bring him before great men. Here's what I want us to understand before we can kind of dive in here. I really don't have 2 points today. Don't laugh. I ain't said it's going to be a short message. I don't have two points that I want to provide. But in order to understand those 2 points, we have to understand the difference between gifts versus talents.
Amen.
Because some of these things that we're going to discuss, you can be a very talented person and do them. And I thank God, saved or unsaved, righteous or unrighteous, saint or sinner, every human being created, born of a woman, has at least one talent. One talent. One talent we have. But most of the time, our talents comes from genetics. Our talent sometimes comes from training and developing and all those things. And just to prove a point, in the early 80s, there was a gentleman named Howie Long who played for the then Oakland Raiders. Howie Long right now is a commentator, I believe, for Fox Sports Network and for Fox. And Howie Long had a stellar football career. And they won a Super Bowl, and he was a defensive end. And the man can play like nobody's business. And Howie Long was inducted into the Hall of Fame. And just to set him aside from every other football player who plays his position, he's of an elite status in the Hall of Fame. Well, here it is, almost 20-some odd years, 30 years removed from Howard actively playing football. He has 2 sons. And both of them, I believe, have a Super Bowl ring. And both of them play well, just like their dad. And if you strip them of the tattoos and take off their helmet and take off the little sunblock that they put on their face, they look just like their daddy. He couldn't deny them if he tried. Except they look a little bigger and stronger than when he played, but he was a beast. So through hereditary genetics, he was able to show his son, because y'all got my size, you got my muscle mass, and now I'm pouring into you the knowledge of this game that will serve you well if you develop your skills and develop your talent. And so he groomed his sons to now they are all pros. And if they continue on this quest, guess where they're going to wind up being? In the Hall of Fame, along with their dad. And it's just not Howie Long. You could look at the Matthew family. Clay Matthew played for the Green Bay Packers. And his dad and his uncle, Clay and Bruce, played football. And I believe Bruce was in the Hall of Fame. And they are playing on an excellent level. And so talent can come through natural occurrences. It could come through your genetics. It could come through your gene pool. It could come by your developing, and it could come from your desire and your determination in order to pursue an endeavor. And you're gonna find all you can to be as talented as you possibly can. That's what talent will do. And God will not deny anyone of that opportunity. So when you ask yourself, how do the rich get rich? Because they are talented at getting rich. They find ways to either make money or take money. And so we got to understand that talent, everyone has them. Now, gift, that's a horse of a different color. That's not something you inherit. That's something that you receive. And the only one that can give gifts is God. The only one who can give a gift is God. And if you look in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, the whole chapter talks about spiritual gifts. If you look in the book of Romans, I believe, it talks about gifts of the body. So let's take a glance at those two before we jump back on 15 and 16. Because I want to get a platform by which I'm talking from to help us understand what it is that I believe God will have us to know today about our gifts will make room for us. And in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, it said, now concerning spiritual gifts, brother, I do not want you to be ignorant. You know that you were Gentiles carried away to these dumb idols, however you were led. Therefore I make known to you that no one speaking by the Spirit of God calls Jesus accursed, and no one can say that Jesus is Lord except by the Holy Spirit. There are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. There are differences of ministries, but the same Lord. And there are diversities of activities, but it is the same God who works in all. But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to each one for the profit of all. For to one is given the word of wisdom through the Spirit, to another the word of knowledge through the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another different kinds of tongues, to another the interpretations of tongues. But one and the same Spirit works all these things, distributing to each one individually as He wills. See, God gives gifts. So you can't manufacture your gift. Now, I've seen it done. And the sad reality of those who've been in church for a long time really can't tell the difference. Because we build people up based on their persona and their personalities, their popularity. And we just make some assumptions that God has never gave us. God never told a believer to assume anything. And that's what Proverbs would teach us. Never to assume because a person can hit melodious notes that they are gifted. Because a person can speak in various tongues, they are gifted. Because people can speak eloquently, they are gifted. Because if you train yourself, you can speak just as good as any speaker out there. If you train yourself and you have a talent of singing and you can sing just as good as anyone out there, all you got to do is just look at your music industry. As a matter of fact, if you know how to be a hypocrite real good, you could be the best preacher on the planet. What do you think actors and actresses are called? Thespians. And the word thespian just means hypocrite. That means you're pretending to be something that you're not. And I love the man. But one of the best hypocrites in the world is Denzel Washington. And I'm not meaning it in a negative way, but what role have you ever seen Denzel play that he wasn't convincing in that role?
Amen.
When he played Malcolm X's own wife, who lived with the man, married the man, bore children for the man, said he sounded so much like Malcolm, I had to leave the platform of where they was filming, because he was so much like him. It's like he embodied this man. And if you ain't into the Malcolm thing, you definitely was in the training day. You know. He was convincing. And you know that's not Denzel. No. Because all the while, the whole time I watched the movie, I was waiting on that I'm really a good guy. He was corrupt.
No good.
Corrupt. And he played the role so well, it garnished him an Oscar. You notice how they give us the Oscar role when we just played fools? Halle Berry, great hypocrite. When she was in Monsters Ball, won an Oscar for one scene. So I'm saying, convincing. And if the Actors Guild came to American churches, there'll be several of us who will win Oscars for our rendition, our interpretation, our portrayal of what a believer is supposed to look like. We can shout with the best of them. We can say amen on cue. We could quote scriptures and pop them off like an assault rifle. We could do all those things. But God said we need to be aware. So I want to talk with you from the thought of the guardian of your gift. Guardian of your gift. We have to guard our gift, because if we're not careful, then we will become thespians. We'll be, as one musical, the great pretenders. And I don't want to pretend any longer. I don't want to come to church and and entertain. I don't want to come to church as routine because it's what I've done most of my life, and I know how to do it to keep people back off of you. I don't want to do it. I want something real.
Amen.
Amen.
I want something that helps me sleep at night joyously and wake up gratefully and just know that I really did wake up this morning and Jesus was on my mind. I really want to go through life, and no matter what the adversities, no matter how contrary the winds of adversities come at my life, that I still feel like going on. I want to know that I didn't go through all the things that I've been through and that I shall go through. That I came too far to know that God would lead me. I want to know what it means to really walk through the valley of the shadow of death and feel no evil. Why? Because God is with me. Amen. I want to know what it feels like to have his rod and his staff comforting me.
Come on now, come on.
I want to know to feel like a sheep in the cave and my master's at the foot of the cave, just setting it up so if anybody try to come and harm me, they got to go through him first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the truth be told, I'm tired of handling my own business.
Mm.
But we get kudos in America if a brother can take care of his own business. And you know, them men, man, that brother handle his business. And I asked the question, look at your community. Your business that you're handling for yourself is not affecting nobody else but you. That lets you know that's not a gift. Amen? Amen. So if you don't remember anything, remember this. Our gift must bring glory to our advocate and not our adversary. Our gifts must bring glory to our advocate. Who is our advocate? Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Who's our adversary? The enemy.
Amen.
Our gifts, our talents, even though they come through genetics, even though they come through our personal development and determination and desire to be great in America, as believers, we want God to take our talents and place his anointing on it because he knows our talent is going to be used to bring him glory. And so you have to ask yourself, is the life I'm living, is the thoughts I'm thinking, the things I'm doing, the people I'm around, does it bring glory to my God? You have to ask yourself these questions sometimes. Because I really want to come in one Sunday, we sing, I am satisfied with Jesus. And then we say, is he satisfied with me? And we say, yes. Though I may not be perfect, but yes, I'm pressing toward the mark. Amen. Yes, I'm daily devoting myself to him. Yes, I'm lifting his name that he can draw all men unto himself. I'm doing all these things. Why? Because I want to live a life and I can be able to sing like the old Negroes sing. God has smiled on me.
Yeah. Amen.
Can I ask you a question? Be honest with yourself. You don't have to raise your hand. You don't have to just look at me right now. Everybody just look at me real close. When last time God smiled at you? See, some of y'all cut your eyes off. You know, the Bible says eyes are wonders of the soul.
Amen.
Amen, Pastor. Let's see what happens. But you ought to wake up knowing God is smiling on you. We know he loves us.
Amen. We
know he desires and he had a plan and a purpose for us. But is God smiling? And I could cut my eyes too, but I could look at his eyes and no, he ain't smiling sometimes on me.
Amen.
But I want him to. And now that he's bringing things back to my attention, I'm striving to do those things. And here's what I found out. It's easier to set aside the weight and the sin that so easily besets you if you keep your eyes focused on Jesus and he's standing there before you say, give it to me. Amen. Come unto me all ye are weary and heavy laden and learn of me. Because I believe the more we learn of him, that we'll learn and be able to understand our gifts and our talents and how we can use them for the glory of God. Here we go. First thing I want you to see. The first of 2 points. The first thing I want you to see is we must search and seek knowledge. We must search and seek knowledge. The Bible says that a prudent man, the heart of the prudent acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seek knowledge. When I looked at that at a glance, I'm like, it's basically repeating itself in different words. Because if I'm searching for something, am I not seeking it? Well, there's a distinct difference when you lift it up in the Hebrew language. When you look at the prudent man, that's the one who has a discerning spirit. This is a discerning spirit. They weigh everything. When you have a discerning spirit, to put it in our modern vernacular, it's as though you're a critical thinker. I hear what you're saying. And you're throwing words at me, and Webster lends you his definition of them, but what you're saying, is it really matching who you are? A discerning spirit. A discerning spirit. And why is that so important? Because of the gift that we're going to talk about in verse 16. So one who discerns, a heart of a discerner, he's searching. In other words, he's gathering information. He's listening. Not only to what you're saying, but what you're not saying. Because I'm always curious of people who throw shade on other folks. In order to throw shade on somebody, you have to flash a light. And normally, based on our history and our discipline, whenever a light is flashed, we look at what the light is illuminating. But now as I'm growing in the Lord, I want to know who's holding the light and why you're shining it in that direction. Because if you try to throw salt over there, then what is it you trying to convince me not to see? Y'all know idea. Let me put it down your street. Let me come down your street then. You haven't cleaned up like you thought you should, like you know you should have. But now you're expecting some drop-in company. So you try to situate your house as quickly as you can in order to camouflage your inability or your you not cleaning up. Throw this in here, shove it in here, close it up, pull the blinds down, sweep it on there. Okay, that's too personal, huh?
Oh, no, not at all.
Because we don't want people to see or think that we're nasty. You throw dirty dishes in the dishwasher and you just stand there the whole time. And stuff like that. Why? Because we shine light. But see, a discerning person will begin to seek and look for some consistencies. Why? Because that discerning person, there's a lot of people who gather information. And that's all they do. They just gather information. And they can spew out information. And why? Because they want you to know how intelligent they are, how smart they are, and how much they know, and how well versed they are. So they gather knowledge. And God said that's a prudent person. They acquire knowledge. But don't just stop at searching and acquiring knowledge. But he says that the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. See, when you searching for something, you're trying to gain something. But when you seeking something, you're trying to figure out how I can use that which I gain. And will it work out for me? So a wise person, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're not saying. I see what you're doing. I see what you're not doing. Now, once I got this information, how does that benefit me? In order that I may benefit others. If I tell you my secrets, how are you going to use them? And we have been burnt by telling people our secrets. I like when they say amen real loud like that. Like I But here's what I want to say to that. You have to make sure that as you are seeking to be wise, and I understand we all have shared some information that we wish we would not have shared, right? I'm not the only one.
Amen.
But had you been a discerning person,
Yeah.
had you been walking in wisdom, had you been seeking the Lord and not your own, you would be saying, amen. Why? Because we lend ourselves over to the enemy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the enemy will take the same information that will be a blessing to somebody and make it your burden.
Yeah. Amen.
Amen.
And then we get mad at people throwing shade on us.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing shade on us. But they can't throw shade if we didn't hand them the shade.
That's right.
And so we got to be careful. The Bible says be as harmless as a dove, but wise as a serpent. In other words, you got to know who you're dealing with.
Amen. Amen.
And since we're always dealing with flesh and blood, we got to understand that flesh and blood is not our enemy.
Amen.
It's your walk with the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
But it's easy to point me out, and I can point you out, right? Because I'm looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
We can't go point at God.
Mm-hmm.
God, you put that, but no, you chose that person. Right. No, bro, you did this. No, you chose to go that way. That's right. God said no matter where you go, left or right, you still got to come back to me.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it is.
And once we learn that, in other words, we'll learn, when Matthew said, when you learn how to check yourself, get that beam out your eyes before you get the speck out of somebody else's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
When you get your life in order, then you're going to learn how to be a prudent person. You're going to learn how to be a wise person. Why? Because it's in that moment that you recognize that I need to sit back sometimes and just wait on God.
Yeah. Amen.
I got to wait on him to do his navigating. I got to wait on him to move things out of the way and move people in my way in order that I may get in the way where he wants me to be. Turn me quickly to Ecclesiastes. Now here's the burden of gaining knowledge and wisdom. And I say this, when I read this, I like, that's not good, God. He said, yes it is. And he showed me how it was good. Now I'm going to show you, it's going to look like it's not good, but it's good. It's good for us. In Ecclesiastes, the first chapter. So this is my warning label for seeking knowledge and seeking wisdom. Ecclesiastes, let me get you out. Chapter 1, verse 16. Verse 16 through 18. It says this. I commune with my heart, saying, look, I have attained greatness and have gained more wisdom than all who were before me in Jerusalem. This is Solomon speaking. My heart has understood great wisdom and knowledge. And I set my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this also is grasping for the wind. For in much wisdom is much grief. And he who increases knowledge increases sorrow. And then James has an unmitigated gall to say, if anyone lack wisdom, ask the Lord, he's going to give it to you liberally. He's generous with wisdom. But why would I want to ask God for something that would bring me much sorrow? You're not going to ask him. That's the beauty about God. Just like you don't ask for patience because you don't want to have to deal with the things that you have to do to be more patient. God said, no, I know what you need. And I know what it takes to get you where I need you to go. And to be the person I called you to be. I know what you need. God said, so you don't have to ask me for certain things. So with this type of wisdom, you don't have to ask God. God said your lessons in life is not based on you winning or losing, but how much you're learning from them. See, we look at every adversity as a setback. And God look at it as a setup. We look at trials as tragedies. And God said, I'm trying to get you to face triumph. We look at the people in our lives and say, God, this is not what I asked for. But God said, I'm trying to get you the desires of your heart.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's what gets me going. I told y'all a few months ago, I have a choice now. You have a choice now. Either you can wallow in the pain and the misery of past decisions that didn't mean you very well, or you can look at the future with great anticipation. Say, God said, don't be weary. Because his word still stands the same. I'm trying to make it work. He said he'd give me the desires of my heart. Can I ask you a question? What is it that you really desire? You've been training. You've been developing yourself. You've been going to school. You've been on a job. You've been doing graduate studies and all these type of stuff. You got all these degrees. You got all these certificates. You got all this experience. You got all this stuff. Okay, God, give me the desires of my heart. I put the work in. But Pastor, you just said it brings misery and grief and sorrow. Here's what I believe. I didn't expand on it as much as I should, and I will, and I get back to you if I'm wrong. But here's what I believe. Why does wisdom bring us much grief and knowledge increases our sorrow? Because the more we know about the God who has designed us, who has given us purpose, who has given us gifts and talents, the closer we get to knowing him, the more unholy we see ourselves.
Amen on that.
The closer we get to a holier God, then we'll see that there's still much work in the world in which we live in. I'm not talking to people over there in Afghanistan. I'm not talking about the people in Syria. I'm not even talking about the one in the White House. I'm talking about the people in your house.
Amen.
And once you get an awareness of who God is, because wisdom comes from him. Then you got to imagine, and you got to measure what he's telling you based on where you are. It will break your heart. When I don't say it loosely anymore, we're living beneath our spiritual privilege. Because we take God as an afterthought. We take ministry as an afterthought. We give him leftovers. We give him warmed over soup and all that stuff. God said, I'll give you my fresh love every day. New mercies every day. God said, I ain't never gave you old mercy. I never gave you 2 days the same. You may respond the same. You may live the same. But each day is different. And each day gives you an opportunity to get closer to him.
Amen.
So we got to seek. And we got to search for wisdom and knowledge. Second thing, last thing I want to show you. Our gifts will set us up. Our gifts will set us up. You got to be careful with that gift. You got to guard that gift. Because see, God only gives gifts. And when God gives us a gift, He's giving it to us for His glory.
Amen.
It's for our growth. And here's the beauty about gifts. It opens up as we mature in Him. As you grow, your gifts grow with you. It's like a transformer. You ride around here in a Camaro and God want to make you a diesel. Using the same frame, same car. Y'all seen Transformers? Optimus Prime and all of them? They get blown. It's more than meets the eye, they used to say. See, your walk with the Lord should be more than what meets the eye. Because see, people see you, but they looking at you not through the lens of the Lord, they're looking at you through the lens of society. And based on your position and your lot in life, people would then start attaching worth to you. And because you are not making this much, then they always keep you down here. Because you didn't go to this school, because you're not from this family, people will label you and try to lock you in to a certain environment, a certain culture, a certain attitude. And everybody's doing it. Black think certain ways of whites. Whites think certain ways of black. Hispanics think certain ways of white, black, white, Asian, white. Everybody think somebody.
Stereotype.
And we lock people in. But God, here's what he said. He said, a man's gift will make room for him.
Yeah.
Man, don't miss that.
Amen.
When we talk about making room, in other words, it's saying God is about to create space. See, people try to lock you in and lock you out. But God said, what I deposited in you, I'm going to put you in a position. Before I get you in that position, I got to create some space up in there.
Amen.
Man, if I was in a Holy Ghost church, they'd be like shouting right now. People who say you couldn't go.
Yeah.
You couldn't do. You can't be here. We don't want you here. We don't like you. But yet they're making room for you.
Yeah. Amen. Amen.
Why? Because your gift makes room.
Amen.
It don't ask nobody to move over. It push them over. It scoop them over. When, matter of fact, when gift walk in the room, everybody stand back. That's gift. They ain't looking at you. They're looking at your gift. See, so your talent will get you so far.
Amen.
And people always say, don't let your talent take you where your character can't keep you. Well, gift can take care of all that. Why? Because gift from God is based on your character. And God has already checked your character. If we want to use it in a vernacular, we can use somebody like a Jackie Robinson, who broke the color barrier in baseball in America. And because he was picked. There's a lot of good black baseball players, Satchel Paige and all these great guys that played better than Jackie Robinson. They were more talented than Jackie Robinson. Could have made a greater impact on the game itself. But Jackie Robinson wasn't just there to make an impact on the game. He was letting people know that there's some characteristics in black people that y'all overlook. And I'm about to show y'all with this stick in my hand. Go look up Jackie Robinson. Go look him up. You'll find he did more off the baseball field than he did
On
the
it.
baseball field.
Amen.
Why? Because his gift made room for him. And we got to understand that we have an assignment that we need to get to, but if we still fighting God on where we are and not recognize that's where he wants us to be right now, because wherever you are right now is a good place to get where you need to go.
Yeah.
Where you are right now. Quit fighting where you are. Develop where you are. Bloom where you're planted. And it'll make room. Now my Bible says, why does it make room? Because when gift make room, that means you can bring others with you. We can make room. Boy, you think white America was really happy with Barack Obama in the White House, especially when he brought George Clinton in the White House? The king of funk? They ain't no place for the king of funk belong in the White House. Kendrick Lamar don't belong in the White House. Chance the Rapper don't belong in the White House. What this brother doing? Nothing have a barbecue on the South Lawn. His gift. Never saw that coming. Because he went to Harvard. He was a law professor. You know, he was distinguished. He carried himself a certain way, even though he was smoking more weed than everybody around. He even tell you, he said, man, my high school life was just a cloud. but God assigned him to the highest position in the land and gave access to the Oval Office that most of us in those positions will never get into. Your gift will make room. It will make people get out the way. And all they can do is just talk about you on the sideline. That's wrong. But you over there. That ain't right. But you right there. He the worst president. But you gonna pay for me for the rest of my life. That's so cool.
Say the truth.
That's the reality. Well, your gift make room for you. So what about Trump? Well, does his gift make room for him? No, his gift is making us get on our knees. Some of y'all ain't never prayed like you prayed now. You're looking at everything suspect. And now you got Dr. Ben Carson want to raise up Section 8. Section 8 got to pay now more. Hey, you see what I'm saying? So we got to, his gift is to make us pray. Seek the Lord while he may be found. I'm straying. Let me get on back. Okay.
Yes.
Your gift make room for you. It creates space. But then it said it leads. Just in case you don't know how to get to where you need to go because you've never been there before. Gift say, follow me. I'm going to take you there. Did your Bible say that? It said, and bring him before great men. Gift will bring you. You ain't got to go. All you got to do is to be ready when gift say, let's go.
You gotta go.
What is your gift? When it's time for you to get promoted on your job, are you ready for the promotion? When it's time for you to go, man, something about people who are not ready to go, you stop asking them. People who are ill-prepared to deal with the next level of living, you stop asking them. Why? Because every time they're not prepared. Why I keep taking this L? Because you're not prepared. Why am I not moving as I should? You're not prepared. And people try to lock themselves into well, opportunity only come once in a lifetime. No, opportunity comes every day.
Amen. Amen.
But it only meets those who are prepared. And our young black men, I say this passionately, we need to learn how to prepare.
Amen.
Because this world in which we're living is setting us up. And your gifts, you're going to do one or two things. Why I say you got to be a guardian? Not because it's what it's going to make room. It's going to make the room. It's going to lead you. But when you look up the word gift in the Hebrew, it means one or two things. It's either a blessing to the body or you try to bribe somebody for what yourself. This gift could be a bribe. Guess who determines whether it's a blessing or a bribe? You do. Well, Pastor, where you get that from? Turn with me to 1 Peter chapter 4. 1 Peter chapter 4. 1 Peter chapter 4. Go look at 2 verses, 10 and 11. Are we there? It said, as each one has received a gift, minister it to one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. If everyone speaks, let him speak as the oracles of God. If anyone minister, let him do it as with the ability which God supplies, that in all things God may be glorified through Jesus Christ, to whom belong the glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Whoever gets the gift, your gift is to be a blessing to the body. Amen. If you're not blessing the body, then you are misusing your gift. And your gift won't grow. Because now God says they don't want to mature in me. Because everything you do is supposed to glorify. You know what I'm saying? May God may be glorified through Christ Jesus. To whom belong the glory and the dominion. How long? Forever. God wants his glory. So you ask yourself, let me look at my life. Am I using my gifts and talent to glorify God? Is God getting glorified out of my conversation? God get glorified out of my work ethics. God get glorified out of my service. God get glorified in my home. God get glorified at school. Do God get glorified on my job? Do God get glorified when I'm out and about and just meeting people, talking to people? But because they don't know who I am, I think I act a fool because they don't know me anyway. or I don't do nothing. I'm complicit through my restraint of trying to get involved in that which is wrong because it ain't none of my business. All this kind of stuff. Do God get glory out of that? And if you ask yourself, no, what makes you think he ain't going to deal with you on a personal level?
Amen.
Because see, when you don't perform on a personal level, occupying until he comes and glorify him through your gift and your talent, the whole body suffers.
Amen.
We all suffer when one of us don't do our part.
That's right. Amen.
You always sit in the seat of idleness pointing it down. I hate them Christians.
Do it again.
I got to make sure things are right around here. We had a couple of them at St. Andrew when I was growing up. They was the fashion police. They was the don't chew gum in the church police. And you remember they come up there and just stick a napkin in your face. Girl, you walked in there running no sleeves on. They got a closet full of shawls back there. Don't even match what you have on. They just throw it on you. All this kind of stuff. Young man came in there and had one cone. They had picks, grapes, Afro cone, Jerry curl juice, whatever you need, they had it there. Look like that man in the club that sit there with the cologne and you forgot to spray when you came in. If you didn't pay the time, they let you know. Had basket watches. Oh, you got a big old car, but you're going to put $5 in there. You got $5. They know by the fold how much money you putting in. 5 fold a certain way. You know how you can tell when people giving blood because they fold their hand under the money and try to drop it in. Y'all remember that? Yeah, try to do. Think about it next time you really ain't got it, but you feel embarrassed you don't get what you do have, so you got a couple dollars in your purse and you try to fold it up. People watching you. But your hair is flawless. Your nails that you had did, not done.
He on fleek.
Don't put your hand down. I'm blind looking at all this glitter on your fingernails. But you don't fold them nails. I just want to keep it light a little bit. But your gift should be a blessing to the body. It should be used to glorify our advocate, not our adversary. And right now the church is seen as though the universal church. We're glorifying the adversary. We get caught up. God positioned us to be in great places. And even if you didn't do what they said you've done, you allow yourself to be in the company of the corrupt. And now your name is attached. And people are going to see the attachment to the corruption instead of you being a Christian trying to glorify Christ. That's why the Bible said, don't let your good be evenly spoken of. Some people we just don't associate ourselves with. Why? Because it corrupts. What is that? Bad character corrupt good morals. So you got to be careful with your gift, because people will see your gift and they will start using you for their own agenda because of your gift. Michael Jackson, I was looking at something last night as I was drifting in and out of consciousness. And he had a song called "They Don't Really Care About Us." He's in the prison. Right? Y'all heard that song?
Yeah, I know the dance.
I don't know the word, but
I know the
I
dance.
listened to it really for the first time. And he was so on point back then. See what Michael Jackson had was not only was he extremely talented, but I believe he had a gift because he connect with people from all walks of life. But yet he died for drugs. Too much in the system. You know you acquired the information. You know they don't care about us. They don't really care about you either, Mike. Just because somebody come giving you everything you want, don't mean they care about you. They just making you more dependent upon them. And now you done got yourself sucked in. Now you feel obligated because now the world tell you it's loyalty over royalty. Because Michael was his royal badness. Him as prince. Mike was the king of pop. Prince was just Prince. But guess what they both died from? Whitney Houston. Probably one of the greatest voices ever. Why? Because they don't really care about us. God blessed them with talents and skills to develop. Whether it's through their hereditary or through his appointment, we lose it. Don't fall victim to the same thing they did.
Amen.
Ask God, God, am I bringing you glory? He said, you don't have to look far. Look at the church you're in.
Amen.
Look at the house you live in. Look at the community you're in. Are you infusing my will and my way into that world?
Mm.
Or do you give up at the first rejection? The first block, whatever the case may be, the first obstacle you face. We got to get to a place where we guard our gift. And we make sure that our gift always give glory to God.
Amen.
Father, we thank you. We thank you for our word, your word. We thank you for our reception of your word. We thank you for reminding us that that which you have placed in us will take us to places that only we can dream about. Your word said that eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, nor has it entered into the heart of man. The things that you have in store for those who trust you. Lord, I'm asking you right now to do something special in our lives. Make us conscious of everything that we do, everything we say, the company that we keep, the lives that we affect based on choices and decisions. Teach us, Lord. It's in Jesus' name. Amen.